Hi, Abigail. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. All right, so let's just jump right into it. So last week was kind of our intake. We did our treatment plan. So now we're gonna hit the ground running. So I know the big thing that you said you came in for was anxiety. Now I didn't have enough time to talk about like fully the anxiety. So could you give me a little more insight on like the big thing that kind of makes you anxious?
Yeah, really, tests, that's my biggest thing. I really struggle with them.
Okay. How long, and what exactly do you mean by that? Like, what are you feeling so anxious about with the tests?
So when we get a test in school, my biggest thing is like the day before, I get really anxious. It's really hard for me to sleep. And then it's, I'm really anxious until I start taking the test and just overall nervous. And then when I start taking the test, I think I start second guessing myself and tell myself, well, that can't be right. You're not right. I have all these thoughts that just tell me that I need to change my answer or I'm going to fail.
Mhm.
Um, and then once the test is done, all I can think about is how poorly I did.
Okay, so it sounds like a lot of it is rooted in this idea of failure and this idea that you didn't study enough or something like that, and it's just like it causes you to second guess and stuff. So
Yeah.
what I'd like to do is something we call the ABC model. And
Okay.
so what we do is we kind of look at what we call the antecedent event. So that means like what tr our trigger, the behavior, so what it looks like when you are feeling anxious, and then the consequences afterwards. And then we'll
Okay.
also do D, which is dispute the belief, but we'll get to that when we get there. So let's
Okay.
kind of go over one of the latest tests that times that you've had like test anxiety. Tell
Okay.
me about like what was going on, like what was the event going on, or
Yeah,
what test?
so I had a science test yesterday.
Okay.
Um And so same thing happened. I got really nervous beforehand. Um, I get really shaky before and then when the test is in front of me, I get like my mind goes numb and I feel like I'm just gonna I get every single question wrong, it feels like.
Okay. So your event was the test, the science test.
Hmm.
Trigger the behavior slash belief was nervousness, shakiness, and like the consequence was second guessing yourself, feeling like you're going to fail, and things like that.
Okay.
So let's kind of go to the last part, which is called dispute the belief. So, out of all the tests you've taken, how many have you actually failed?
None.
Okay. So there's no, so what we like to do is kind of look at the evidence. So based on you believe, okay, I'm going to fail, but evidence shows, hey, that's never really happened before.
Yeah.
So this is something I want us to do. So what I'm going to do is we're going to print you out what's called an ABC log. So we're
Okay.
kind of going to do that. So when you start thinking about the next test coming up and you start feeling nervous and thinking about that, I want you to kind of replace that belief. I want you to challenge that belief with the D section on the chart. You'll have eight.
Okay.
So I want you to challenge that belief and be like, okay, wait, write it down if you have to. Like, okay, I haven't actually ever failed a test before. Like,
Okay.
and the more you do it, the more we're going to replace that belief in your head that you're going to fail, if that makes sense.
Okay. I'll do that.
All right. And then we'll go over it next week. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem.